Opening. 3 pictures appear. One is of a woman giving a presentation behind a podium. Another photograph depicts 2 people engaged in a conversation. The other photograph is of a man explaining something to another man. The title reads Access Ed Project 2008 2-Day Symposium. Title transition to the next sequence of text. Access Ed Conference on Universal Design in Higher Education and Beyond. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, September 25th and 26th, 2008. Keynote speaker, Cheryl Bergstaller. Plenary, Universality of Captioning, Virginia Shivarina. Video fades to black. Universal Design Spectrum, Cheryl Bergstaller. Dr. Bergstaller standing behind a podium talking to the audience.
Okay, so the universal design perspective, and obviously universal design is kind of a way of thinking. It can be a process, it can be a list of standards if you want to go that far, but it's an attitude that we don't look at the problem as residing in the individual, we look at the problem as residing in the environment. And now we can't fix everything, perhaps, to make it fully accessible, but we don't have to have a disability ghetto where people are segregated in a particular area. Okay, so when an employee cannot tell that an emergency alarm is blaring, is it because someone can't hear the alarm? What's happened? Why is that?
They've got their iPod in.
They what?
They have their iPod.
They have their iPod. There you go. All right. Any other reason why they might not be able to hear the alarm, whose fault it is, or what the reason behind it is?
It's a sound. It's an alarm that only makes a sound.
Oh, so the alarm. I like the idea. She's talking about the alarm now. She's not talking about the person. The alarm doesn't have an audio output or visual output. I know it was one of those. Yeah, one of those. Okay.
It needs to be both.
But it needs to be both. Because this guy might have an iPod in his ear too. And so, okay. So, it could be, often it's, well, she's deaf. She has these special needs. In other words, the problem resides in the person. Whereas, other ways to look at it is, first of all, that system designer. What was they thinking? What was that person thinking when he designed an alarm system that didn't have audio and visual output? What was he thinking?
Everybody's like me.
Yeah, thinking everybody's like me. Right. Okay, so they can take some of the blame. And then what was that administrator thinking? You know, why didn't they select an accessible alarm system? So there's some blame there. But often I'll run into administrators that say, well, we're renting this building, or I didn't build a building, or whatever. But we as administrators have to take a careful look at the things that we do and the things that we can change, and consider accessible features in the procurement process, and it actually will benefit other people. People who are listening to music will see that visual display. So there are basically 2 approaches to access. This is simplifying things a bit, but I like to think of it in terms of accommodations and universal design. We need both, but accommodations are those things that we do for an individual person. We provide an alternate format, we provide a special service, we do some kind of adjustment, we give them some special technology, and we do that for a specific teacher, student, parent, employee, visitor, whomever. Okay, that's an accommodation, focused on the individual. Let's imagine that auditorium again, so we're talking about physical spaces. So as there really aren't any wheelchair spots, but all the presentations in there, people have to sign up for it so they know. And so if there's a student who uses a wheelchair, then they'll just rip out one of those chairs on the end. We do some of that on our own campus here and there. Just take that chair out. No problem, Cheryl. We'll just take that chair out and just unscrew it here, whatever. Well, that's an accommodation for that person. And it requires that there be an adjustment and that person disclose a disability. In contrast to providing open spaces in various parts of the facility for a person with a wheelchair or someone with another physical issue to sit. In our own environment in Seattle, we had a stadium where when we go to the baseball games with a group of kids where there happened to be a lot of wheelchair users, we had to sit in one place. There was really only one place in this stadium where there was a place where people used wheelchairs. And we'd go up there and so we would do that. And we were a group, so it didn't really bother us too much. And so when they built the new stadium, they got a lot of feedback from people, even us, that said, well, we should have some options where people with disabilities can sit, physical disabilities can sit with their friends in whatever various parts. So what they did is they did that, but they no longer have the large group area. And so it's a problem still for our group, because there are times when we want to congregate. There is a group of people with wheelchairs. So they kind of took their feedback from people who were complaining and made some, quote, improvements, and and then didn't think about the audience that they were currently serving with the older format. It would have been easy for them to have both.
The R2D2 Center logo appears. Below reads, "Copy and distribute freely, but use in its entirety and do not alter. Access Said Project, copyright 2009, Rehabilitation, Research, Design, and Disability, R2D2 Center." Please visit us at access-ed.r2d2.uwm.edu. The Access Ed project is supported in part by the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Post-Secondary Education, PR Award number P33A050090. The Access Ed documents contained in this video are those of the grantee and do not necessarily reflect directly on the U.S. Department of Education.